washing is an activity that we were raised with. However, it wasn't always so. Up until 1858, when Ignaz Semmelweis made a huge scientific discovery, hand washing was actually seen as unnecessary. You see, hand washing's importance is complex, and how to properly execute this everyday action is not necessarily what most do. There's a reason that this specific tactic is most effective. So this simple routine is so important, but that leads us to this huge question: why? Why is hand washing so important? The Center of Disease Control and Prevention has a perfect answer to this question. It says that our hands need to stay clean in order to prevent sicknesses and spreading diseases. This perfectly backs up what Semmelweis discovered. You see, in 1858, there was a huge outbreak of disease, and Semmelweis did some research. He came to the conclusion that the disease was being spread from hand-to-mouth contact or hand-to-hand contact. What that means is that the doctors were touching these sick patients and then touching other people and other things as well. This is what was spreading the disease. He discovered that simply by washing your hands, we could prevent that disease from further spreading and affecting the population. So, not necessarily childbed fever is what we have to worry about anymore, which is what Semmelweis discovered. However, we do have to fight against other diseases and germs that affect us to this day. So many everyday activities can spread these diseases, such as going to the bathroom or changing a diaper, or less obvious ones, such as touching a doorknob that was infected by somebody who didn't wash their hands as well. By hand washing, we can drastically reduce the spread of these sicknesses, such as common colds and regular fevers. The fight against germs actually helps battle the rise of antibiotic resistance as well. You see, hand washing prevents 30% of diarrhea-related illnesses, as well as 20% of respiratory infections. By fighting off these diseases and preventing them by hand washing, we're preventing the need for these antibiotics, which further just protects us from having to put these chemicals and these pills into our bodies, which can harm us physically. As we fight the spread of diseases, we prevent the need for medication, which will build our resistance otherwise. This leads me to my second point. How? We know the why, but how do we properly execute this function? Step 1, wet your hands with running water. Step 2, apply soap and lather your hands by rubbing them together. Step 3, make sure that after applying the soap and rubbing them together, you scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. A good tip to help this out is by singing happy birthday in your head twice. Step 4, rinse your hands once again with running water. And step 5, dry them off with a nice clean towel or paper towel. Otherwise, allow them to air dry. Why is this tactic better than any other? Researchers have answers for us. You see, it's important to use running water because standing water can become contaminated. Standing water pretty much just means it's not moving, it has no circulation. Step 2, applying soap actually encourages people to scrub harder. The soap further removes the germs. For step 3 of lathering, these actions create friction that help lift the dirt and grease and microbes from the skin that otherwise wouldn't be gone. Scrubbing our skin for at least 20 seconds, evidence has shown that this actually improves and removes germs more than other times. Step 4, rinsing water using running water. This is important because it reduces skin irritation, as well as you can't use still water because once again it's contaminated. And step 5, drying hands after. Germs can actually be transmitted more easily on wet hands rather than dry hands. I hope that this message has encouraged you to stop your everyday rinse and go and take the extra time to scrub under your nails and the back of your hands and go the extra mile to prevent yourself and those around you from being sick. Thank you.